Hi, today we're going to review organic molecules. So if you will get out your organic molecule graphic organizer, which is found on page 47 in your packet, we will go over that. Okay, so organic molecules, are also known as biomolecules. Bio mean life, molecules, compounds, and macromolecules. Some of these compounds are very large, macro, large. Now in the dashed box, remember organic molecules contain carbon. So organic means contains carbon. We're a carbon-based life form. So there are four major groups of organic molecules. We've got carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids. So the first one I want to talk about are carbohydrates. And again, this is a review. So carbohydrates, whose monomer is monosaccharides. Mono means one, saccharide means sugar, which look like rings or stop signs. So I'm going to draw that. There's two major functions of carbohydrates. One is quick energy, and of course, structure. Some of the very large polysaccharides, large carbohydrates, are going to build things for the cell, like cell walls. So there's some key examples of carbohydrates that you need to be familiar with. So the sugar in the cell wall of plants, of course, that's going to be cellulose. Cellulose makes up a plant cell wall. The sugar that is produced during photosynthesis, that's going to be glucose. A complex carbohydrate used for short-term energy storage in animals. Okay, so here's the key word. So again, energy storage in animals. And then down here, the complex carbohydrate used for short-term energy storage in plants. So for animals, the short-term energy storage molecule is going to be glycogen. And for plants, it's going to be starch. There was one more that we put on our chart, and that was chitin. If you want to add that to the bottom, you can. Again, it's found in a fungal cell wall. It's also found in an arthropod exoskeleton. So again, that's a little bit about carbohydrates. Remember that a lot of carbohydrates end in ose. Okay, not all, but some. Okay, our second group of organic compounds are going to be proteins. And the monomers that make up proteins are called amino acids. And amino acids, remember there are 20 of them, and they do end in "ene," or a lot of them end in "ene." And all 20 amino acids have the same basic structure. They all have a central carbon, and bonded to the central carbon, they have a carboxyl group, which is a carbon, double bonded to an oxygen, bonded to an OH. So this group here, a COOH, is called a carboxyl group. Also attached to the central carbon is a hydrogen, Also attached to the central carbon is an amine group, which is an NH2, a nitrogen and two hydrogens. So how does one amino acid vary from another amino acid? By the R group or the variable group. So here at this R group, that's how one amino acid will differ from another amino acid. Now, we went over lots of different, more than three, lots of different functions of proteins. I'm going to list kind of the three ones that I want you to mainly focus on. Transport. Remember the proteins that are embedded in the cell membrane, and also hemoglobin, which oxygen will bind to, and then the red blood cell will transport oxygen to all cells in the body. Structure. Tissues. Your hair, muscle, skin, nails are all made up of protein. And of course, proteins act as enzymes. As far as examples of proteins, okay, the protein in red blood cells that helps carry oxygen, again, that's hemoglobin. The protein made by the pancreas that helps the liver absorb sugar, thus lowering the blood sugar, that's going to be insulin. And a protein that helps speed up chemical reactions are going to be enzymes. So these are three examples of proteins that you must know. Our next group of organic compounds are going to be called lipids. And lipids, again, really what makes a lipid is its inability to dissolve in water. So it will not dissolve in water. And a lot of lipids are composed of fatty acids, and glycerol. And it's going to take on the shape when the glycerol, which is going to kind of be the backbone here, is going to join with, for example, three fatty acids, like so. It's going to kind of make the fat look like the letter E, a capital letter E. So these would be three fatty acids hooked to a glycerol backbone, and that's going to form a fat or a triglyceride. Tri meaning 1, 2, 3 fatty acids attached to a glycerol. As far as the function of organic molecules, long-term energy storage, insulation, think of the polar bear, and to protect and to cushion. So to cushion and protect vital organs. There are several examples of lipids that you need to know. All fats, bacon grease, lard, Crisco, oils, olive oil, vegetable oil, waxes. Now, a couple of specific examples. The lipid found on the surface of leaves and helps keep them from drying out. It's going to be waxy. It's going to be an example of a wax. That is going to be referred to as a cuticle. Okay, so that waxy surface that's on the surface of leaves, that is going to be called a cuticle. And of course, the lipid found in the cell membrane is a phospholipid, which of course looks like this. Now, our last group of organic compounds are going to be called nucleic acids. And nucleic acids have a monomer. They're made up of monomers called nucleotides. Which nucleotides have a sugar and a phosphate and a nitrogen base. So that was what one nucleotide looks like. Again, the function of nucleic acid is to store and transmit genetic information. Examples of nucleic acids. The nucleic acid that holds every single protein recipe. In other words, it has all the genetic information. That is going to be DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. Remember, the Na stands for nucleic acid. And then the nucleic acid that holds only one recipe, and it's copied from the DNA. So again, this nucleic acid gets the code from DNA from just one recipe, coding for one protein, and will carry it out to the ribosome. That is going to be RNA. So again, the Na stands for nucleic acid. This is ribonucleic acid. So just to review, organic molecules that make up living things that contain carbon. Again, we're a carbon-based life form. There are four main types. We've got carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids. This is what living things are composed of. Okay, this chart, you'll need to trim it down. And this chart will end up going on page 47 in your notebook. So it is page 47 in your packet, and it will go on page 47 in your notebook. So I'm going to write that down. Page 47 in your notebook. So trim it down and put that in there.